Hi, my name is Preeti and I'm a knitter based in Toronto. I have 3 finished objects today, and I have one that's almost a finished object, and I have a new work in progress that I'm super excited about. But first I'll start with my first finished object, and this is the Olga Jacket. So the Olga Jacket is a pattern by Petite Knit, and it's knit on a DK weight. She uses cardigans, but I use Drops Fiesta, and it's been a great. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Is what I'm trying to say. It's a striped drop shoulder sweater. And yeah, you pick up stitches along here which don't look that neat, and I think it might be because I don't have mohair to help kind of cover things up. But overall, I really like this project. In terms of sizing, it's got your typical range of extra small to 5XL as per her latest patterns. And I went down, I made the first size specifically because I wanted a lot less ease than what she recommends. And I mean a lot less, and that's what I got, thankfully, because I do find with petite knit patterns these days that are designed to be oversized, they're just too oversized and it just doesn't suit my style. But if you go for one of her other sizes that give you the ease that you're looking for, then it works out. Let's see, what else can I say? I sewed on the buttons. I decided to go with clear ones because if you had seen my previous podcast, I had the yellow Esther jacket and I used yellow buttons, and I felt like, oh, it was a bit much. So I decided to just take a neutral approach and just go for clear ones, and they work really well. About the yarn, so Drops Fiesta is a new to me yarn. It's a new line by Drops Yarn, and it is considered a DK weight sock yarn. So it's superwash and it has nylon in it, and you know, it has a nice toothiness to it. It really is not too slippery and feeling like, say, Drops Extra Fine Merino, which feels very superwashy. This one doesn't. It has a bit of grit to it, so I really like that. And if you buy from Wool Warehouse, which is, I believe, based in the UK, they do have discounts every month or so, like on different lines. I would say since February, they've been having different discounts on their different types of products. And I bought the Fiesta while it was on sale, so I think it was, the balls were about £1.50, something like that. And I don't know if you can get Drops Fiesta yet in Canadian yarn stores. I haven't seen it yet. It's possible. So you know, I was curious and the price was right, so I decided to buy it. And I indicated the color numbers in my last video, but I don't remember off the top of my head, so I will write it in the description. And I really like this project, and I like the fit, and I can't really say too much more about it. Like you can see, it's striped, and the dominant color she recommends to start with the darker one. So you start with the dark yarn in your stripe, and you do increases along the back, and then you're just carrying the yarn after every set number of rows to just along the side, and it's really seamless. It doesn't look like there's something messy going on. Like, it's just a nice way of carrying the yarn. And if you go on Petite Knit's support videos, Kimmy Moncombe, she has a video on stripes, or at least doing the increases for this project. And so it's a drop shoulder, so that you will pick up for the sleeves, and you'll just knit all the way down. And yep, always have loose ends. And then you just do ribbing for the cuff, and it's like it's not a very big cuff, as you can see. And it's my first time doing stripes. Very, very fun. I would say the project really flew because I found the stripes to be really addictive and fun to do. And then for the button band, you just pick up all the way up here, pick up all the way up here, and then you like kind of pick up and you do the neckline. So overall, I really recommend this project. I would definitely make it again in like different colors. I would even consider making the Olga sweater because I think it would be fun. But I really recommend this project. This was a good one. All right, I will show you my next object. All right, so now we've got the next finished object on, and this is my Friday slipover. It's all finished, and both this and the Olga sweater have been blocked and have been worn out. So the Friday slipover, I think she has two. She has a V-neck and she has a round neck. I opted for the round neck, and it's made in a broken rib pattern, which I did not really enjoy. So broken rib is where you do one row of knit and then the next row is ribbing, so knit purl. And when you're doing the increases, I think I mentioned this last time, just watch the video if you're not sure and use stitch markers the way that they do in the video, because I did mess it up. I got a little too overconfident and I have a couple of wonky stitches in the back. But you know, you can't really tell. You pick up for the neckline and you just do a regular rib neckline and it's folded down on the inside. And then you pick up for the sleeve or the armhole, and you work the ribbing obviously as you finish, just like any other project. In terms of did the vest grow in width? Not particularly. I don't think it grew too much. It did flatten out nicely. Like, it did grow, but it didn't grow significantly. But I think that is a property of broken rib, that it grows in width and not so much in length. And I wore it to the office, and I wore a shirt underneath. Oh, I wore a blouse underneath, like a collared blouse, and I didn't feel itchy at all. I would say with the t-shirt, it is touching a bit of my neck and it is just a tad itchy, but with the collared shirt, I didn't feel any prickliness at all. Which leads me to the yarn that I used. So I mentioned that I was using Drops Kid Silk in the color lavender, and then I used a strand of Sunday by Sandnes Garn in one of their dusty purple colors. I think it's 5054. And they worked really nicely together. I think I ended up having to buy an extra ball of the Kid Silk because I only had 2 balls left, and I think I needed 3. Or 2 and a bit at least. I needed more than 2 balls. So it's not like your typical slipover where, see, like the one by My Favorite Things Knitwear, where she has the spring, I think it's vest number 2 spring edition that I made. That one was a V-neck. That didn't even use 2 balls in the size that I made. So I think compared to those type of slipovers that are a little bit looser in gauge and just regular stockinette, they require a lot less yarn than when you're doing something a bit more textured, which makes sense. I think this is great for the spring, and I actually think the purple and the yellow look nice. They're very springy, and I'm really glad I have this slipover in my wardrobe. I do recommend it, but I can tell you I will not be making any more broken rib sweaters or anything. I just didn't really enjoy the pattern. I think it's something about, I like doing the knit. I even like doing purl, but doing the rib as like every second row just got really tedious. I dreaded it. I just didn't enjoy it as much. But now I know, I'm glad I didn't commit to something like the Friday tea, which I was really heavily considering making, and I'm not gonna make that anymore. So yeah, this was my second finished object that I really wanted to show you. And I have one more, but I'm not sure if I'm going to wear, okay, I will wear it, 1 second. All right, and this is the Ulyss top, or the Jules Genser. And I finally finished it. It does need to be blocked though. This guy has not been blocked. I finished it, I think, last week, but I didn't have a chance to block it. So I used a lace weight alpaca yarn that I got from a store on Etsy. And I think I mentioned it before. I don't even know if they still sell it. But it was a 600 gram ball of alpaca yarn, and yeah, I think I just bought it randomly. I was vaguely planning on making the Elizabeth blouse with it, and then I changed my mind. I realized I'm gonna need a lot more. Like I didn't need to hold like at least 3 balls together, and you know, you just kind of you change your mind about projects, and so I decided I wasn't gonna make that. And I think I saw some folks making this Jules Genser, and I thought, oh, you know what, that would be really cool. And so I got the pattern and then I made it. And it's this beautiful lace pattern that you do to start, and you've got twisted rib here. And I didn't carry on the twisted rib for the remaining ribbing, but you start here and then you do like a chart here, a chart here, and then a chart here. And it's a circular yoke, so you don't do any raglan increases or shaping in that regard. And I believe the pattern has you do German short rows, but I opted not to. It's knit on 3mm needles, and I did struggle with laddering, which if you look up close, it's there, and it's really strong on the back. So I think if you use the right size needle, length of needle, maybe you won't have as much trouble with laddering, but I've really struggled with it. I wonder actually if you used mohair. So the actual pattern uses Sandnes Garn, because the Sandnes Garn pattern, they use their own mohair and you hold it with 1 strand. And I wonder if the mohair would be more forgiving with regards to laddering compared to what I ended up using. But I think it's okay. And yeah, the pattern makes it like a long sleeve, and I turned it into a t-shirt in order to not lose yarn chicken or having to go out and buy more yarn. And I think it's like a really nice pattern. It looks really effective. I have not worn it out yet because it needs to be blocked, and because it's a bit see-through, I wouldn't wear this bright yellow t-shirt underneath, but I would wear maybe a white tank top underneath. And in this, yeah, so in the summer it could be okay, although I don't know how this would wear in the summer. I guess we have a couple months to before that happens. But I would say that the project just got, after doing the lace patterning, which is so much fun, it got really boring. And so I for this project, I didn't know when I started it, but I think I started it in November, and I just finished it last week, and last week was the end of April, or just the beginning of May, sorry. So yeah, it took a long time, and it obviously sat on ice for a really long time because I just got so disinterested in the stockinette. But I pushed through, and now I have this nice lacy top. And I think it would look really nice under a blazer or under a cardigan. And I'm really glad I made it. And I'll keep you posted on like how it goes in terms of actual wear, because it is really nice. I just, yeah, I'm wondering how I'm gonna actually wear it when, like, in the real world or real life. So, because it doesn't need to be layered. And I think like, I'm trying to think whether I would make it again. I think I would, and I would modify it. So what I would do is make it on a bigger gauge. Like I would use mohair and fingering maybe to do like a sport weight type of gauge. And so it would be bigger, and maybe it could be a bit more of like a lofty sweater, because it is really nice. And then it's just that combination would be really, I think, forgiving when it comes to maybe in terms of like the see-throughness. Then you wouldn't have to worry so much about what you're wearing underneath. I don't know, because like, why not treat it like the ranunculus? Because the ranunculus can be made in so many different yarn weights and needle sizes, so you probably could do the same here like you could do with any pattern, right? Like you have to keep in mind, like, how is it gonna alter the overall project? But because it's a circular yoke like the ranunculus, I wonder if you could do that. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but it would be cool. I think it would look really nice. And I think if I were to do that, like make it again and use different yarn weights, I would maybe do the German short rows in the back. I think it would make the garment look a little bit better. I think like I really struggled at the beginning because my needles that I was using are a little bit more stiff. And so I was and because you're using a lace weight, it's very fiddly. So the beginning is very fiddly with the twisted ribbing. And then on top of that, my needles that I was using was actually very similar in color to the yarn itself. It's just also my nails are very similar. That's very coincidental. And I think that it was just too fiddly, and it was really annoying me. So I just opted to not do it. So yeah, I think I would do it if I were to do it again. So anyway, overall, really happy, but I'll have to keep you posted on its actual like usage in real life after I block it. All right, now I'm going to show you another project, but I'm gonna first change into a different sweater. 1 second. All right, I'm back. So my next project is a work in progress, but it's very close to being finished. And it is the Lakes pullover. I had to think about that one. The Lakes pullover by Ozetta. And I'm trying to get this ready so I can show you. It's almost done. I'm just doing the last sleeve. And it's so nice. So the reason I have a string here is just to remind me that it's the back. Yeah, it looks so good. So I'm using Patton's classic wool worsted yarn that I got from Michael's. I think I'd mentioned there was a sale, and then they've had multiple sales where you can get the yarn for about, I think it was $5 something Canadian. I ended up needing to have 5 balls to make the size small, and it's gonna be too bad because I'm gonna have a lot of yarn left when I'm finished, because I'm almost finished my last sleeve, my second, and I just like joined this ball of yarn maybe a few inches ago, and so it's kind of a bummer that like obviously you need to finish the sleeve, but I'm gonna have a lot of yarn left, so I'll have to think about what to do with it. But to go back to the sweater itself, it is a saddle shoulder construction. And the way you make it is you start with these panels, these rectangles that you ultimately join together in the back and the front. And then you do a bunch of German short rows and in the back and in the front. And then eventually, okay, now I'm drawing a blank. At some point, everything gets joined in the round, and then you obviously do the body, and you do a lot of ribbing for the bottom. I can't remember, was it 4 inches? It was a lot. And before I jumped to the sleeves, I decided to do the collar because it looks really funny without a collar, and I just wanted to be able to see what it looked like. So then you do this massive collar that gets tacked down, and she tells you how to do it in a way that enables it to be a little bit more stretchy, so it's not like too tight. So that's good. And I think to prevent it from getting too stretched out, I would probably put an elastic band or an elastic thread through it, so I can do that after blocking. But I appreciate that because I'd rather have it loose than too tight, because it can be very uncomfortable otherwise. And then when you do the sleeves, you're also doing short rows, kind of like here-ish, like just from the bottom. Was it? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, there's short rows on the sleeves, and then you have like a decent sized cuff. And I didn't do the full length because it was already kind of hitting me around here, and I thought, okay, that's gonna be too long. So, I mean, I didn't want to go past that. So yeah, the way I keep track of my decreases is like, you can probably see like the indents of where they were. And then when I'm working on the other sleeve, instead of using new stitch markers, I just take it from there and I put it there, because I just want to make sure I'm kind of matching them up. And they should be matched up because you're doing it at a set rate, but I was kind of being a little sloppy in this sleeve, so I decided to just kind of eyeball it, make sure I wasn't, if I was being consistent or not. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I just, it's kind of a neat thing that I've started to do. I wasn't always keeping track of my decreases like this, but now I do. And so yeah, I'm more than halfway done the second sleeve, and it's funny how the second sleeve always moves so fast. So I should be done this probably tomorrow, and then I can block it. The color, I remember feeling a little bit iffy. I'm still not totally sold on it, but I think I was inspired to buy it after my yellow Esther sweater, because I thought, you know, maybe I needed to try more neutral colors, because I was feeling really bright in the yellow. But you know, I've actually, the yellow sweater has grown on me. I've worn it, the Esther jacket, to the office a few times, and I don't really feel how I did in the beginning. But I also like this, so I'm actually really glad I have it. And it's May right now, so I probably will not need to wear it until September, hopefully. It's been a cold year so far. Definitely a good year for knitwear, but I'm ready to not wear heavy sweaters until September, so we'll see. I was also wondering about gifting this to someone, so we'll see about that too. But I'm really liking this, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to let go. I haven't told that person I was thinking about gifting it to them, but yeah, I really like this sweater. I think I can see the hype. I understand why people like it, and I think once it's blocked, I won't get this weird kind of shelf situation, or it's like dipping, something funny that's happening there. I hope that kind of goes away, but I noticed it when I put it on that it was doing this thing. And it could be that I didn't pick up enough stitches, or picked up something was off about the stitch pickup that's making it do that, I think. But it's not the end of the world, and blocking is pretty transformational, so hopefully that will be okay. But I highly recommend the Lake Slip pullover, and I do think I would make it again. And I would use the same yarn. In fact, I did buy more of the Patton's Classic Wool Worsted from Michael's when they were having that same sale. So I don't know, they seem to be having this sale a lot. If it's not a discounted sale on the individual ball, they're having a sale, like a bigger sale, but only on one regular priced item. So, you know, I kind of do this thing where I'll pick up a few balls of yarn while it's on sale, and then I'll just accumulate over time. And then when I have enough, then I can actually make a sweater. But it's a little easier on the wallet when you don't purchase them all at once. But my goal for the cream yarn, colored yarn of this that I bought, I was thinking of making the storm sweater. But I'm gonna need, I think, 7 balls, and I only needed 5 balls for this. So we'll see, maybe I will, if I don't make that, or sweater number 18, I think it is, which is also textured, I might just make another Lakes pullover in the cream color, and then I can definitely give one of them away because I'm not gonna need both. But I really like this. I'm not done. I have one more work in progress, and I'm really excited about it. So 1 second. All right, I'm making the Vivi cardigan by Sari Nordland, and yeah, I have it printed out. I don't usually print it out in color, but I was already at the print shop, and so I thought, why not print it? And so I printed the whole thing, and it's so beautiful, and it's so much fun to work on. So yes, I have started it. This is the back panel. I hope you can see it, but here. And it's this beautiful cabled knit, and it is so much fun, and the color is gorgeous, and I'll get into that. But you've got this big chunky cable here, and you've got these cables that run on the side, and then the chunky cable, it's ×3. And then there's this interesting pattern that happens here. It's this column. Oh, sorry, this column that happens every once in a while, and it's also very cool. It's not a cable, but it's a funky stitch. And I'm using Knitting for Olive burgundy colors, or Bordeaux colors, and it's so nice. And I think I mentioned I wanted to make the Vivi cardigan because, first of all, I love the book club cardigan. Book club cardigan? That's what it was called, yeah. And so when I saw her teasing the Vivi cardigan, I thought I had to make it. And I wanted to use special yarn for it because now I had that experience of the book club cardigan, so I knew I was going to really enjoy it. So I was happy to splurge a little bit on Knitting for Olive, who was having a sale where I think it was like the 5th ball you get for free. So I think I ended up getting just 1 ball for free. Something like that, either every 4th ball or 5th ball. I can't remember. Anyway, there was a sale happening on Knitting for Olive. And so, yeah, I knew I wanted to make it special. And I'm telling you, if you loved making the book club cardigan, you're going to love making the Vivi cardigan because it is a really fun knit. It's very intuitive, and it could be intuitive because I have already made the book club cardigan, or it could actually just be more intuitive than the book club cardigan, but it's really fun. It's not too complex, and I think the yarn combination is also really doing it for me. So I don't want to rush through this. I want to like savor it, and I just want to work on it forever. It's so good. I really, really like it. It's possible that it's a bit gapey because I can really see through it, and I hope that the gapiness kind of goes away after blocking. but I think it's okay because it'll just make it a little bit more lightweight. She recommends, I think, 3.5 millimeter needles, and I'm knitting it on 4 because I find that she is a bit of a looser knitter, or I'm a tighter knitter in comparison. And so, yeah, and so I didn't do a gauge swatch because I don't really know how to read gauge swatches in cable knits. I would need some help. So I just kind of go based on how I feel about the fabric, and I'm okay with the fabric. So for like a regular stockinette, I'm okay to calculate the gauge, but when it comes to cables, and to be honest, I just kind of skipped over it. I was just like, look, if I like the fabric, I'm gonna go for it, and it's fine. And it'll just make it maybe possibly a little bit more lightweight because I'm using the 4 millimeter instead of what she recommends, but like the cable definition is fine. So like if the cables were coming out too loosely, then I should go down a needle size. But anyway, I just really wanted to gush over this pattern and like really sing its praises because it is so nice and it's so fun, and it's so intuitive. You don't really feel like you need to look at the pattern, and I just love it. And obviously the yarn's great. Did I mention that? So really, really happy with this. I think that is it. Oh, I wanted to say for Knitting for Olive in Canada, if you buy from a store, for example, if you buy Knitting for Olive, Kid Silk Mohair, or their mohair, and at one of the stores in Toronto, I think I saw it for between $16 and $17 per ball, which feels like a price hike and is really expensive. Like, that's not when it's not on sale. And I think on the Knitting for Olive website, for me, they show the prices in Canadian dollars. I guess they probably do that for wherever you are. They'll show your local currency. And it's closer to $12. I will correct myself if I'm wrong. Between $12 and $13. It's significantly cheaper to buy it directly from, what I'm trying to say is it's significantly cheaper to buy Knitting for Olive from their website than buy it locally. And I don't know why our local stores are hiking up the price. I mean, obviously they've got to cover their costs. I can expect it to be more expensive because they are a reseller and they're gonna have to. There's gonna be a price difference, but in just this year, I've seen like a huge price difference. And I think when I calculated it out to order Knitting for Olive from the actual Knitting for Olive store, not on sale, including shipping, was cheaper than to buy it locally, and I would even go pick it up in person. What I'm basically trying to say is, if you want Knitting for Olive, maybe look at it online or at their store and see if it's cheaper than it is to buy it in person, because it might be. Just because the prices are going up, and I understand, but if you're in the market for that yarn, you might want to just compare the costs. Just like with anything, like with drops too, I know that for me to buy drops yarn at Wool Warehouse and when they're having a sale, it's cheaper than it is to buy it locally. Like even with the shipping from the UK. So there's things to consider if you're like looking for things, like if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck. Oh, and then like for example, the Patons yarn, I really liked it because it's pure wool, it's non-superwash, and Michael's, like, I can walk there or I can take transit and I can pick it up, and it's cheaper than it is to buy wool from Wool Warehouse. So, I'm just trying to give some options here. You might want to try Michael's, you might want to try Wool Warehouse, or Knitting for Olive if you're into that directly from them. And then like locally, when they do have sales, they end up being a good bargain. So yeah, just some thoughts on yarn, you know, where to buy it and to keep the hobby going. And I think that's it. All right, I hope you're having a great one. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you next time. Thank you.